what is yin and yang? You might see this symbol from last year's viral image of entangled photons. I must clarify first, this image is not the physical representation of the quantum world. Actually, no current technology allows us to directly see the world at the quantum scale. It's more of a metaphorical visualization, pre-constructed to represent an invisible yet very real connection between two entangled quantum particles, no matter how far apart they are. This mysterious entangled connection that defies classical physics troubled Einstein so greatly that he called it spooky action at a distance. And interestingly, this strange quantum bond shares some surprising similarities with Eastern Yin-Yang philosophy, two omnipresent forces, opposing yet complementary. Maybe that's why many quantum physicists feel drawn to this ancient symbol. Niels Bohr, one of the founding fathers of quantum physics and a Nobel Prize winner in 1922, the same year as Einstein, even included the Taiji symbol in the design of his coat of arms when he was knighted by the Danish royal family. So, what does yin and yang really mean? And how can this ancient symbol possibly relate to our everyday lives? To understand how yin and yang operate, we must turn to one of humanity's oldest and most irreplaceable texts, the I Ching, or Book of Changes, a work that predates even Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching and Confucius Analects by over 1,000 years. It's a book that has laid the foundational cornerstone for the civilization of the Far East. According to the Book of Changes, one yin, one yang, and that is the Tao. Yin and yang oppose each other, but also paradoxically relies on its counterpart to exist and make sense. And together, they make a whole. Yet this wholeness is not fixed or still. It is a dynamic balance where the yin and yang continuously interact and transform into one another. This duality goes far beyond simple opposites like good and bad or black and white. They truly represent two fundamental modes of being that influence every aspect of our daily lives. Take, for instance, speech is yang, pause is yin. Without pause, speech loses meaning. Without speech, pause has no voice to shape. Work is yang, rest is yin. Work produces results, but without rest, it leads to burnout. Rest offers renewal, but without work, it turns into idleness. To act and to give is yang. To take in and to receive is yin. So, to receive, we must first be willing to give, whether it is time, effort, or suffering. And to give, we must first receive, to nourish mind, body, or relationship. Order is yang, and chaos is yin. It is through order that harmony is achieved. Yet, without chaos, resilience can't be cultivated. Certainty is yang, and uncertainty is yin. Without certainty, we lose the foundation upon which to build understanding. Yet, it is uncertainty that challenges us to keep reflecting, questioning, and discovering new possibilities. Success is yang, failure is yin. Without failure, success feels unearned. Without success, failure holds no purpose. Joy is yang. Sorrow is yin. Joy can be truly appreciated in the presence of sorrow. And sorrow, painful as it may be, deepens our gratitude for joy. Forward is yang. Backward is yin. To move forward, we must step back first to build momentum. The list can go on and on. According to the Book of Changes, everything in the universe carries some yin and some yang. When a yin state is observed, it is symbolized by two spaced short lines. When a yang state is observed, it is symbolized by a single solid line. These symbolic lines, known as yao, are stacked in groups of 6 to form the 64 hexagrams, which represent 64 categories of transformations, aligned with the evolving principles of the Tao. Isn't it fascinating that just two symbols, one solid line and one open line, can categorize the entire patterns of life, nature, and the cosmos? And isn't it like how binary code works in every modern computer, using just zeros and ones? It is said that when Leibniz, the German polymath behind the binary system, first came across the 64 hexagrams in the Book of Changes, he was so fascinated that he wrote in his 1703 article Explication de l'arithmétique binaire that he found in the hexagrams a basis for claiming the universality of the binary numeral system. But, hold on a second. While the binary system and yin-yang philosophy may appear similar on the surface, they are, well, fundamentally different at their very core. In a binary computing system, one bit, the smallest unit of data, is either 0 or 1. They are absolutely separate without any overlap. However, let's take a closer look at the Taiji symbol. Within the white, yang area, there is a small black dot, and within the black, yin area, there is a small white dot. This means that within 0 there is 1, and within 1 there is 0. The relationship between 0 and 1 shifts from a binary either-or to a kind of quantum superposition, where each qubit can exist as both 0 and 1. According to the book Quantum Science and Yijing Theory by Meihuan Liu and Jerome R. Busmayer, unlike a classical bit, which is either 0 or 1, a quantum qubit can have an infinite number of states between 0 and 1. Actually, there are so many fascinating similarities between yin-yang philosophy and quantum physics that we just can't cover them all in the limited time of this episode. If you're curious, drop your comments below. If there's strong interest, we'll create another episode to unpack this connection in more detail. Alright, let's circle back to our main thread, yin and yang. Behind the simplicity of the Taiji symbol lies a deep well of wisdom that can empower our lives in magical ways. Let me give you a real-world example of how this yin-yang way of thinking plays out in art, and how it can transform the way we see life. Imagine you have a favorite cup. It's been with you every morning and night, a small but important companion in your daily life. But one day it got accidentally bumped and ended up cracking. What's your first reaction? Probably saddened at heart, with a sense of helpless grief. Why did this have to happen? And then you throw the broken pieces away. But can you imagine there's a better way? One where, instead of mourning the cracks, you fill them with gold. That's exactly what the Japanese art of kintsugi is about. Kintsugi, which means golden joinery in Japanese, is a centuries-old practice of repairing broken pottery by filling the cracks with gold. In this case, the breaking, a state of yin, is embraced and transformed into a state of yang, a new golden wholeness rising from the fracture. Isn't that an enlightening way to look at life? Instead of regretting over imperfections, let's embrace who we really are, cracks and all, and fill them with gold. Hidden within this deceptively simple yin-yang Taiji symbol is an intriguing philosophical system which doesn't promise stability, but instead guides us to find harmony within instability. Does it sound like a paradox? Let's explore how this paradoxical wisdom takes shape, not in abstract theory, but in another lesser-known form of art, an art where the visuals are constantly shifting with multiple perspectives, an unusual concept when compared to the fixed single-point perspectives we're so used to today. What does it exactly feel like to live in constant motion and still be in a state of balanced ease? Let's find out through a scroll painting that spans over 2 meters long by contemporary artist Hu Xian-tang. This time, we're not standing still in front of a canvas like we usually do with paintings. This time, we unroll it like playing out a miniature movie in our hands. As the scroll begins to unroll, Beneath our fingertips, swirling clouds drift over jagged mountain cliffs, leading us into a winding path. We're drawn forward, and then a lone figure emerges, riding a donkey. His gaze stretches toward the horizon, compelling us to follow his eyes, eager to discover what lies ahead. As we continue unrolling, the landscape is awakening around us. Creeks are babbling softly between rocks, waterfalls are cascading down sheer cliffs, and nestled within the clouds are glimpses of humble homes, serene temples, and vibrant groves of trees. Each scene is flowing seamlessly into the next. As the final scene is gradually fading back into the drifting mist from which it is beginning, we too seem to be dissolving into this endless mountain world, a beautiful return to the circle of life. Here, both artist and viewer are joined in a shared unity with the universe. In this continuously unfolding yet always delicately balanced world, there arose within us a sense of spiritual joy. Though nothing can be seized tightly or held as our own forever, each fleeting moment becomes eternally new. This dynamic interplay reflects one of the highest ideals pursued by ancient Chinese artists, the harmony between the universe and humanity. In an era marked by dizzying velocity, this yin and yang wisdom reminds us that beneath constant change and uncertainty, there may lie a deeper, unchanging order. When we attune ourselves to it, step by step, it leads us toward a more balanced, flourishing way of being. Thank you for watching. If today's episode sparked a little new perspective on your life journey, be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Your tiny click could make someone's work much more magical. Before you go, we invite you to click the link in the description to explore our creation of the Book of Songs. Alongside original commentary and translation, we've created a unique artwork for each poem, an attempt to capture the invisible essence of Eastern poetry through the visible lighting and atmosphere of Renaissance art.